Hey everyone, this is Adam Needens, and this is going to be our case study for AEP 859, meeting student learning requirements by means of an improved writing across curriculum program. So let's dive into it. Here are the facts of our case or our situation. We have Kim, who's the assistant principal, which will be me in this case. This is taking place at Triscuit Middle School, which is 7th and 8th grade, about 650 students. The assessment scores are low in multiple areas in this building. English writing areas are very poor, especially the writing area is what we're going to concentrate on. Teachers are not engaged in the writing process or writing curriculum. Therefore, the students are showing little engagement for writing. Textbook-driven curriculum right now with basically use of paper and pencil for their writing instruction. There is a lack of multicultural learning going on, as well as a poor differentiated instruction. This is an inclusion building. However, the classrooms are not geared toward, or the teaching is not geared toward meeting everyone's individualized needs. Curriculum and assessments are the same for all of the students, not based around the student needs or abilities. They are currently in, or we are currently in, the second year of a school improvement process with interventions, and weaknesses are not being repaired at this point. A little bit of continued information. The people involved would be myself, the staff, students, parents, community, stakeholders, the principal, and then the superintendent. There is a lack of parent engagement within our building. Students don't want to or don't know how to do the writing process, and I could say the same for the teachers. The state deemed education techniques inadequate, as in why we are having the assistants, and then our data simply shows poor performance all around. Are there any legal or ethical issues? Through those 4 bullet points right there, you can see there are really no breaches of contract or legal or ethical issues going on here. We're mainly focusing on curriculum and student-teacher engagement with scores. So let's synthesize a little bit here. What we have going on. A new curriculum and plan is needed for writing that will assist all of the teachers and students, therefore resulting in better overall test scores because each individual student's needs are being met. So here's what we have so far in our case for people, place, and program. People, the assistant principal, which would be me, named Kim in this situation. There are the teachers involved, all of them, I guess you could say, for the 7th and 8th grade. All of the students would obviously be involved. I'm going to include the parents' involvement in this as well as the community. There seems to be a lack of parent and community involvement in this school, which could be partly the school's fault as well. 80% of the students are African American, 17% white, and 3% other. You will look at the place. We are at Triscuit Middle School, which is a 7th and 8th grade school, approximately 650 students in the building. It is an urban area. The majority of our staff is Caucasian. If you look back at the people, you have 80% of the students being African American. Not saying that's a problem, but there's always the issue of, can you relate to your students, and are you making those connections on a day-to-day basis with your students? 65% of the students are on free and or reduced lunch, and like I said earlier, our parent activity is quite low, around 25% involvement with that. So we would obviously like that to improve. The program, look at our poor test scores over the course of many years. We have a writing curriculum. We're using the Holt-McDougall textbook as of right now. We are currently in the 2nd year having state coaches come in for academic school improvement support. We have moved to an 84-minute block to hopefully assist in learning. And then we are built on repairing weaknesses is what the program is supposed to be doing. Obviously not working overly well. Let's prioritize our information here. The questions that we're looking at here: could the conflict, the situation, or the decision be damaging to stakeholders or to the community? Absolutely. Depending on what we come up with, We're obviously going to be impacting our teachers one way or the other and our students, and then you can broaden out to the parents in the community. But our conflict is going to be with our teachers. Is everyone going to be on board and buy into what our new curriculum, our new plan is going to be? Are the students then going to hopefully be engaged and want to learn however we decide to go about that? But I think the main thing is going to be me meeting with the teachers and deciding on how we're going to do that to get that buy-in from the teachers, because if there's not the buy-in from the teachers, there's not going to be buy-in from the students. What individuals and groups have an important stake in the outcome? Mainly, you're going to look at our school district, that tight-knit group right there. We're trying to get engagement up throughout the teachers and students. And I think if that's going to happen, obviously those scores will go up in some capacity. How much is yet to be determined, but hopefully quite a bit. If we can get everybody involved and engaged, then those students are going to want to continue to write and want to learn more, and hopefully that drives our test scores then as well. Have all the relevant stakeholders been consulted? As of right now, I would say no. We need to obviously get involved with everybody in this situation, not just one person making a decision. However, there needs to be a leadership role, which would be the principal in this situation, taking a leadership role in this, and if something needs to be handed down, then that's what we need to do. Can I learn more about this situation? Obviously, I need to learn what are my teachers doing right now that's not working. What would they like? What are their opinions on things? How do they see this working in the future? Then what about the students? What do they hate about this process? Obviously, they're not involved. They're not engaged. They don't want to be doing this. They're not even trying on some of these writing tests and things like that. So what are their opinions on stuff? What kind of instruction would they like to see? Do we need to reach more on a multicultural level? Is there needed to be more differentiated instruction? Maybe I need to work with, or we need to collaborate more with special ed on things as well. Do I know enough to make a decision? I know enough right now to say that whatever we're doing isn't working. If the state's having to get involved and tell us how to teach, then we're obviously not on the right track of what we have done on our own. And you can look at student scores and student engagement to tell you that simply we haven't been meeting the needs of the students. Possible options. So here's the 4 that I have listed out, what we could go with. Continue as is and make no change, meaning we're just going to continue on with the state, which is in their improvement plan right now, and I guess we'll see what happens. Let the teachers decide where we should go, meaning I kind of take a step back and the teachers can figure out, hey, this is working, this isn't, here's our plan or our curriculum that we would so choose. Option 3 would be I make the decision for the entire staff, the entire building. I set forth, here's the curriculum we're choosing, everybody's doing it, and go. And then option 4 would be to collaborate and come up with possible curriculum plans and guidelines with the staff, with a group of teachers. So we want to look at our possible consequences for those 4 actions. If we went with option 1, a consequence could be poor scores. You're going to be looking at there's nothing changing, so our scores were already poor, so we're going to continue on with poor scores. There's going to be no student improvement. We're going to end up with a state mandated curriculum. There's going to be poor teaching, meaning those teachers obviously aren't doing what's needed as of right now. Maybe they don't know how, they don't understand what's expected, or they just simply don't know how to teach the writing very well, and that's something that we need to help them with. And then there's going to be no student engagement. There's obviously no student engagement right now, so why would that change it if we don't change anything at all? Number 2 was giving the teachers free rein to make that decision. There may end up being no clear direction. You have a ton of opinions and a ton of options there. You might end up with dissension amongst the staff, teachers arguing and bickering back and forth that you do this, you do that, you're not any good at this, and you're going to get arguments over and over. We should do it this way. No, we should do it that way. So there's going to be no real overall vision or plan for the school. If I make that decision for the entire thing, that might lead to bad morale throughout the building. There's obviously about 80 teachers in the building, or 80 staff. So if I'm gathering no input from anybody, I'm basically saying, here's my dictatorship and let's go with what I say because I know everything. This may end up leading to teachers not being on board with our plan. Option 4, you might end up with, since we're collaborating with multiple people in this situation, you might end up with too many opinions and there's no clear expectations then driven out from that. We don't know what will work in this situation. We haven't tried something else, so maybe we don't know exactly what's going to work and what won't work for us. Pros and cons. Option 1, this is going to be easy. It's no added work for me. Let's just continue doing what we're doing and everybody goes on about their business, right? The con of that, however, would be our scores are awful and there's no student or teacher engagement. So everything kind of just stays the same. The pro for number 2, the teachers might be happy in this situation. There's no added work for me for the time being, and I say that because we don't know if it's going to work or not. Number 2, on the cons would be there's no clear direction, there's no uniform curriculum and guidance. There's not one thing set in stone of this is how the entire building is going to do it, and we need to mandate that, so hopefully we have a clear direction, and that's not going to lead to that. Number 3, I make that decision and it becomes a uniform decision. The whole staff does the same thing. Everybody is working on the same type of curriculum the same way, so all the students understand this is what's expected and all the teachers are going to understand this is what's expected. However, on the con side of number 3 is I'm probably going to end up with some mad teachers in this situation because they had no buy-in or they had no input, and therefore it's going to lead to a lack of buy-in from them, which will probably end up leading to the students seeing that and a lack of student buy-in as well. Option 4, the pro for that would be the teachers and admin are sharing and working together to create whatever the best possible solution we can come up with for this situation. A con of that, like I said before, there's going to be many opinions and many different options that we have to look at, and it's going to be very time consuming as well. Making a decision. What I'm going to choose is I would choose option 4, collaborating with staff to decide on a curriculum and plan for our building. I feel that this gives everyone the best chance to buy into what our new vision will be. It also allows me to hear what the opinions are and what other options may be out there that I haven't heard or seen yet. So since we have our decision made, let's go through the implementation process. First, we're going to share data and scores with the staff. What we have right now hasn't been working, so here's the information, and I need to share that with the staff so they understand what we've been doing isn't up to par and it's not meeting expectations. So they need to have that understanding and have that data and those scores right in front of them. Then I want to share our idea and plan, what we chose option 4, collaborating, of a new curriculum and expectations. Then I'm going to create a BLT, which would be our building leadership team, and have a group of teachers from many different areas in the building on this BLT so we can work together to create our new curriculum and plan. Obviously, with 80 staff members being in the building, we can't have all 80 on this building leadership team, so that's where it comes into play. I need to decide who's going to be on that building leadership team and have some equity in that as well. Then we must improve student and teacher engagement. That should be our overall goal right here. If those are being met, then hopefully our curriculum is a good one and it's going to improve our scores. We're going to then have to probably take our proposal to the principal, since I am the assistant principal in this case, and then maybe it needs to go to the superintendent and to the board if needed for approval, if we're having to buy anything, purchase anything, and just overall tell them what our new curriculum and guidance and plan would be. Once everything's been approved, we're going to share our plan with the entire staff, so everyone is going to be on the same page and that we have one shared goal and vision in mind. They're going to understand this is what we're working with and this is what we're working towards, and there's no exceptions on that. We are going to mandate teacher professional development training so these teachers have a better understanding of how to go about this curriculum and how to teach the students the correct way with this writing process, so they aren't uncomfortable teaching our students, and that way the students are getting the best possible teaching that they can receive. Like I said, we're going to have one shared vision with this, from the admin down to the teachers down to the students, and then if anything comes up, we need to obviously revise that with the BLT as needed if there are other things that need to be changed or added as we go through this process, because it's probably not going to be a one-size-fits-all, and we need to understand that and make those changes as we go. So that is my case study. I thank you for your time.